All right, I have got to talk about my breakfast experience today because it, in a lot of ways, to me, is sort of the quintessential definition of what this trip is. So, a quintessential allegory? I don't know, whatever. Anyways, so I decided I wanted breakfast. The last couple days, I've liked to get on the road for a little bit, get some distance under my belt before I actually stop and have some breakfast, which has been nice because it means I don't eat in the city that I stopped in because I normally would eat dinner there the night before. So today I got out to, what was that place called? Gantz. It's called Gantz, New Mexico, is as far as I got. And to call this a city would be a lie. To call it a town would be at the very least a gross exaggeration. So it's a very tiny place. They had labeled on the sign like 2 places to eat, and they were like a McDonald's and a Subway. Which I was not about to stop at because I think it's wrong to be out of town and stop at a chain restaurant because I can have McDonald's and or Subway at home, and I rarely do it there. Why would I do it here where I could have something different? So anyways, I drove there, I got off the exit, and drove and didn't see anything that was really going to interest me to stop at, so I drove about a mile down, and I find, I'm in a small little town square at best, but there's no town around the square. It's just a couple of buildings, a couple things lining the side of the road. And one of them there's a couple different cafes. Most of them were closed on a Monday morning for whatever reason. But one of them had a bunch of cars in front of it called El Cafecito, and it had a bunch of cars parked in the parking lot. I was like, all right, that's the one. If the locals, and they were clearly locals because they were, they were off the highway enough that they weren't all travelers. So I was like, all right, well, if that's the locals eat, that's where I want to go. So I go to El Cafecito, and their menu is just like a little piece of paper, about this big. That's their breakfast menu. No descriptions of anything, just titles. And I decide I'm at El Cafecito, so I'm going to get the El Cafecito special. Again, no clue what's in it. And a normal person might ask the server what's in the El Cafecito special, because for all I know, they're about to bring me pig intestines, and, I'd eat it. So I go, okay, I'll take the El Cafecito special. And she goes, okay, red or green? Now, this question, I've got to admit, threw me. I'm not really sure why you'd ask me the color preference of my breakfast. But I didn't want to ask her, because that would defeat the point. The whole point is to experience new things, so I'm not going to ask, I'm going to just figure it out. So I just decided, red. Spur of a moment, red. Maybe it's because I'm wearing a red shirt, I don't know, but I decided red. So I sit, I'm enjoying some coffee. It's a wonderful little time. Nice couple people talking around me. Good times. And she brings me the food. And she goes, all right, well, do you need anything else? And I go, yes, actually, I have a quick question. What am I about to eat? And she gives me a sort of odd look. And I go, look, I'm traveling. I didn't really know what was on it, but I figured I'd go with it. Okay. There are 3 components to this meal, and each of them are quite different than what I would normally have for a breakfast. So it was an omelet in its most basic definition, in that it included eggs, and the eggs were folded around something inside of a filling. The omelet was filled with ground beef, just plain ground beef. There might have been like some minor seasoning to it, but I mean literally just ground beef, and an absurd amount of ground beef at that. And then there might have been cheese in it, but I'm not 100% sure. And then they cover it in red chili sauce, which that was the red or green question. So they cover it in red chili sauce and then a little bit of melted cheese on top. Honestly, quite delicious. And then what they called hash browns, which were actually, they just took potatoes and like sliced them and then cooked them as if they had made hash browns. But they weren't like actually hash browns, like shredded potato cooked together. They were just slices of potato, which, I don't know, in my opinion, we're probably a little undercooked, but maybe that's how you're supposed to eat them, so I didn't argue, I just ate it. And then the last thing on the plate was a side of refried beans. I've never had refried beans as breakfast before, but I have to say, the whole thing worked. It was a phenomenal breakfast, and I think it's quintessential because I'm doing this to experience new things. Like, I'm out here to try new and different things. Normally, I probably would have said, I don't really know that I want refried beans with my breakfast. Can I have, like, I don't know, fruit or something else that might be more breakfasty with my breakfast? But I didn't. I just went with it, and it's awesome. I'm having a great time. And the views out here are just picturesque. I mean, they're just phenomenal. In fact, I'm going to pause this for a second, and I'm just going to give you a quick video of what it looks like driving around New Mexico on my way to the Grand Canyon. right, so apparently I can't switch to go to the front-facing camera, but just to give you an idea, I'm just gonna sweep this around here. This is actually my view as I drive. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like, look, there's just random crap everywhere, but it's cool, and the views are insane. I mean, just look for just a second. I mean, how beautiful is this? This is what I'm driving through. You know, for all those people that said this whole trip was crazy and they couldn't believe I was doing it, this is totally worth it. Absolutely. I'm so happy I've done this. Now, granted, I haven't turned around and headed home yet, but for now, at least, I'm happy I did this. So, all right, that'll be it for now. I'll check in with you guys later.